Jinho Park pulled the worn blanket up to his daughter's chin. Hana's eyes were already heavy with sleep. The 7-year-old smiled at him in that way that made his heart hurt and heal at the same time. "Did you brush your teeth?" Jinho asked softly. "Yes, Daddy." Hana yawned. "Can you tell me the story about the brave princess again?" Jinho sat on the edge of her small bed. Their home on Titan's Edge wasn't much. Just a basic housing unit on a mining colony far from Earth. But it was theirs. He and Hana had made it home together after Yuna died 3 years ago. "Once upon a time," Jinho began, "there was a princess who wasn't afraid of anything." He barely got through 3 sentences before Hana's breathing became slow and steady. She was asleep. Jinho brushed her dark hair from her forehead and stood quietly. He walked to the door and took one last look at his daughter. Safe, warm, loved. The floor shook. Jinho grabbed the doorframe. The lights in the HAB unit flickered. An alarm started blaring from somewhere outside. He ran to the window and looked out at the dark landscape of Titan's Edge. A streak of fire cut across the black sky. Something was falling. Fast. Too fast. The impact shook everything. Jinho heard metal tearing and the sound of an explosion. It came from the mining field about 2 kilometers away. Close. Too close. "Daddy?" Hana appeared at her bedroom door, rubbing her eyes. "Stay here," Jinho said firmly. He grabbed his work jacket and emergency kit. "Lock the door behind me. Don't open it for anyone but me." "What's happening?" "I don't know yet. I'll be back soon. I promise." Jinho kissed her forehead and ran outside. Other colonists were coming out of their homes, pointing at the smoke rising from the mining field. Jinho didn't wait. He jumped into his utility vehicle and drove toward the crash site. The wreckage was worse than he expected. A ship had torn through the ground, leaving a trail of destruction. But this wasn't a human ship. The metal was wrong. The design was strange. Smooth and organic-looking, with symbols he didn't recognize. This was an alien vessel. Jinho approached carefully. Parts of the ship were still glowing hot. He could see a large crack in the side. Smoke poured out. He grabbed a breath mask from his kit and moved closer. "Hello?" he called out. "Is anyone in there?" A sound came from inside. Weak. Pained. Not quite human. Jinho's hands shook as he pulled himself through the crack in the hull. Inside was dark except for flickering lights. The walls were covered in strange writing. Broken equipment sparked and hissed. And there, in the corner, was a small figure. She looked like a child, but her skin glowed softly with blue and purple light. She had 4 eyes, all closed. Her breathing was shallow. Strange silver blood covered her side. Jinho's medical training from his colony work kicked in. He moved to her side and checked her pulse. It was there, but weak. Different rhythm than human, but definitely a pulse. "Can you hear me?" he asked gently. The small alien's eyes opened slowly. All 4 of them. They were golden and full of fear. She made a sound, not words, just a scared, pained noise. "It's okay," Jinho said. He kept his voice calm. "I'm going to help you." He looked at her injuries. The wound on her side was bad. He didn't know alien biology, but he understood trauma, pressure, stabilization. The same rules had to apply. Jinho worked quickly. He used medical gel from his kit on the wound. The alien child whimpered but didn't pull away. She watched him with those golden eyes, scared but somehow trusting. "You're safe now," Jinho said. "I've got you." A device on the alien's wrist started beeping. Jinho picked it up carefully. The screen showed something, coordinates maybe, or a warning. Then the screen changed. New symbols appeared. They looked like ships, multiple ships, and they were moving, coming here. Jinho's blood ran cold. Whatever had shot this ship down was still out there, and they would come looking for survivors. He looked at the small alien child. She was injured, scared, alone. Jinho made a decision. the kind of decision that changes everything. He carefully lifted the child into his arms. She was lighter than Hana, but bigger. She made a soft sound and curled against his chest. Even scared and hurt, she seemed to understand he was trying to help. "Let's get you somewhere safe," Jinho whispered. He carried her out of the wreckage and back to his vehicle. The colony's security would arrive soon. So would whoever was hunting this child. He had to move fast. Jinho drove back to his home. His mind raced. What was he doing? This was an alien, a real alien, and someone had tried to kill her. This could bring danger to everyone, to Hana. But when he looked down at the small figure in the seat next to him, he saw only a scared child. And Jinho had never been able to turn away from a child in need. He carried the alien into his home. Hana stood in the living area, her eyes wide. "Daddy, what is that?" "She's hurt," Jinho said. "She needs help." He laid the alien child on the couch and grabbed his medical supplies. Hana came closer, curious but not afraid. That was Hana, always brave. "Is she an alien?" Hana whispered. "Yes." "She's pretty. Why is she glowing?" "I don't know, honey." Jinho worked on cleaning and bandaging the wound properly. The alien child watched him. Then she looked at Hana. The two children stared at each other for a long moment. Hana smiled. She walked over and gently took the alien's hand. The child with 4 eyes blinked slowly. Then, amazingly, she smiled back. "What's her name?" Hana asked. "I don't know." "We can't talk to each other yet." The alien child's wrist device beeped again. This time, new sounds came from it. Processing sounds. Then a mechanical voice spoke. "Translation matrix initializing. Language recognized. Standard human common dialect." Everyone froze. The alien child looked at Jinho, then at Hana. She opened her mouth and spoke. The words were halting, clearly translated by the device, but clear enough. "You help me. You save. Thank you." Jinho nodded. "You're safe here." The child looked around the room. She saw Hana's bedroom door, the blankets still messed up from bedtime, the storybook on the floor. She pointed. "That place. What is?" "That's a bedroom," Hana said proudly. "That's where I sleep." "Sleep?" "Yeah, Daddy covers me in every night." The alien child tilted her head, confused. "Covers in?" Jinho explained gently. "It means I tuck her into bed, make sure she's warm and comfortable and safe." The alien child's 4 eyes went wide. She looked at Jinho with an expression he couldn't quite read. Wonder, maybe, or longing. "Will you," she said slowly, "cover me in, human daddy?" Jinho's breath caught in his throat. Hana's hand found his. Outside, in the distance, he could hear more ships arriving. His decision was made. Whatever came next, this child needed protection. "Yes," Jinho said firmly, "I'll keep you safe." The alien child smiled. And in that moment, Jinho Park became a father to 2 daughters instead of 1. Morning came too quickly. Jinho had spent most of the night watching the alien child sleep on his couch. She breathed differently than humans. Slower. Deeper. Her skin still glowed softly in the dark. Hana had fallen asleep next to her new friend, curled up like a protective puppy. The translator device had given them more information. The child's name was Lyra. She was a princess. Her family ruled an empire called the Veltrine, and someone had tried to kill her. Jinho rubbed his tired eyes. A princess. He had rescued an alien princess. This was bigger than he could handle alone. His comm unit buzzed. It was Mina Lee, his co-worker at the mining facility. "Jinho, you okay? That crash last night was crazy." "I'm fine," Jinho said carefully. "Colony security is all over the crash site. They found an alien ship. Can you believe it? An actual alien ship." Mina paused. "They're looking for survivors. Administrator Doyen is offering a reward for information. Jinho's stomach dropped. Doyen Choi was the colony administrator. Everyone knew he was corrupt. He skimmed money from mining operations and took bribes. If Doyen knew about Lyra, he would sell her to the highest bidder. Thanks for the update, Jinho said. I need to go. Wait, are you sure you're okay? You sound weird. Just tired. Talk later. Jinho ended the call and looked at the two sleeping children. He had to hide Lyra. But how do you hide a glowing alien child on a small mining colony? Hana woke up first. She smiled when she saw Lyra still sleeping peacefully. Is she going to stay with us? Hana whispered. For now, Jinho said, but we have a problem. People are looking for her. Bad people. Like in the stories? The bad guys who chased the princess? Exactly like that. Hana thought for a moment. Then we need to disguise her. Like in the story where the princess pretends to be a normal girl. Jinho looked at his daughter with pride, 7 years old and already thinking smart. That's a good idea. But how? Lyra stirred and opened her 4 golden eyes. She sat up slowly, touching the bandage on her side. The translator on her wrist activated. Pain is less. Thank you for covering me in. Jinho had put a blanket over her during the night. The simple act had meant so much to her. You're welcome. How do you feel? Strange. Good strange. My home does not have covering in. We sleep in chambers, alone, cold. That sounds lonely, Hana said. Yes, lonely. I did not know the word before. Now I know. Lyra looked sad. My mother is Empress. She is far away. My guards are... They are dead. Everyone is dead. Only me. Jinho knelt next to the couch. I'm sorry. That must be very hard. The bad ones came. They killed everyone. I ran to escape pod. I crashed here. Lyra's glow dimmed slightly. They will come to finish. They will kill me. No, Jinho said firmly. I won't let that happen. Why do you help? I am not your child. Jinho smiled gently. Because it's the right thing to do. Humans help children. All children. Lyra stared at him like he had said something impossible. All children. Even stranger children. Even alien children. Especially them. Lyra's 4 eyes filled with tears. Different tears than human tears. They glowed like tiny stars. Hana hugged her carefully. You're not alone anymore, Hana said. You have us now. The moment was broken by a knock on the door. Hard. Official. Jinho moved quickly. Lyra, go to Hana's room, hide under the bed. Don't make a sound. The 2 girls ran to the bedroom. Jinho waited until the door closed, then opened the front door. 2 colony security guards stood there. Behind them was Administrator Doyun. He was a thin man with cold eyes and an expensive suit that didn't belong on a mining colony. Mr. Park, Doyun said with a fake smile. May we come in? What's this about? The crash last night. We're checking all residences near the impact site, looking for any signs of survivors or debris. I haven't seen anything. Doyun pushed past Jinho into the home. The guards followed. They looked around, checking corners and opening cabinets. Where's your daughter? Doyun asked. Still sleeping. She had a rough night with all the noise. Doyun walked toward the bedroom. Jinho's heart pounded. He stepped in front of the administrator. She's sleeping. I'd rather not wake her. Doyun studied Jinho carefully. You seem nervous, Mr. Park. I don't like strangers in my home. I'm not a stranger. I run this colony. Doyun smiled again. It was not a friendly smile. If you're hiding something, I'll find out. The reward for an alien survivor is quite substantial. 50,000 credits. So that was it. Money, of course. I'm not hiding anything. I'm a single father trying to get through the day, that's all. Doyun stared at him for a long moment. Then he nodded to his guards. They did one more quick search and left. If you see anything unusual, Doyun said at the door, you'll let me know, won't you? Of course. The door closed. Jinho let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. That was too close. Hana and Lyra emerged from the bedroom. Lyra's glow was very dim now. She looked scared. He is bad, man, Lyra said. I can feel it. My people sense danger. He wants to hurt me. He won't get the chance, Jinho promised. But we need a better plan. Mina arrived an hour later. Jinho had called her over. He needed help, and Mina was the only person on the colony he truly trusted. When she saw Lyra, Mina's jaw dropped. That's an alien. That's a real alien. In your living room. Her name is Lyra. She needs our help. Mina stared for a full minute. Then she sat down heavily on a chair. Okay. This is happening. We're hiding an alien princess from assassins and a corrupt administrator. This is my life now. Will you help? Jinho asked. Mina looked at Lyra. The alien child watched her nervously. Then Mina smiled. Yeah. Of course. What kind of person would I be if I didn't? They spent the morning coming up with a plan. They couldn't keep Lyra hidden forever. They needed to contact her people. The Veltrine Empire had to know she was alive. But Lyra's ship was destroyed. The communication array was dead. Jinho was good with machines, but alien technology was beyond him. Unless. What if we combine human and alien technology? Jinho said suddenly. I can't fix your ship's communicator, but maybe I can build something new, using parts from both. That should not work, Lyra said. Our technologies are too different. Maybe, but humans are good at making impossible things work. Mina nodded. He's right. Jinho can fix anything. I've seen him repair equipment that should have been scrap. We try, Lyra said. We must try. They decided to move at night. Jinho would go back to the crash site and salvage what he could from Lyra's ship. Mina would watch the girls and keep them safe. But first, they had to deal with a more immediate problem. School. Hana had to go to the colony school. If she suddenly stayed home, people would notice. And Lyra couldn't be left alone. She comes with me, Hana said simply. What? Hana, she's an alien. We say she's my cousin. From Earth. She's visiting. She glows in the dark, Mina pointed out. Lyra dimmed her glow until it was barely visible. I can control it. Somewhat. If I focus. And the 4 eyes? Jinho asked. Sunglasses, Hana said. Lots of kids wear sunglasses. It was crazy, but it might work. The colony school was small and understaffed. The teacher, Mrs. Han, was kind, but overworked. She might not look too closely. That afternoon, Jinho walked both girls to school. Lyra wore Hana's spare clothes and a pair of dark sunglasses. She held Hana's hand tightly. Remember, Jinho said quietly, you're Hana's cousin. Your name is Lyra. You're visiting from Earth. Earth, Lyra repeated. Visiting. Cousin. Mrs. Han barely glanced at Lyra when they arrived. New student? My cousin, Hana said brightly. She's staying with us for a while. Welcome, dear. Find a seat. Just like that, an alien princess became a colony school student. Jinho watched through the window for a moment. Hana and Lyra sat together, sharing a tablet. Other kids glanced at the new girl but lost interest quickly. Children were adaptable like that, if only adults were the same. Jinho's comm buzzed. Unknown number. He answered carefully. A voice spoke. Cold, mechanical, alien. We know the princess survived. We are coming. Give her to us or your colony burns. The call ended. Jinho looked at the school, at his daughter, at the alien child he had promised to protect. Time was running out. The threat changed everything. Jinho couldn't wait for night. He needed to act now. He called Mina and explained the situation. She arrived at the school within 10 minutes and took the girls to her HAB unit. It was safer there, less obvious. Jinho went to the crash site alone. Colony security had put up barriers around the wreckage, but they were lazy. Only one guard watched the site, and he was more interested in his handheld game than his job. Jinho waited until the guard walked to the other side of the ship, then slipped through the barrier. Inside the wreckage, he worked fast. He pulled circuit boards, power cells, and communication components. He didn't know what half of them did, but he recognized the parts that generated and transmitted signals. That was enough. Footsteps crunched on debris behind him. Jinho spun around. Administrator Doyen stood there with 3 security guards. All of them had weapons drawn. "Well, well," Doyen said. "Caught you. Stealing alien technology is a serious crime, Mr. Park." "I'm just looking around. Don't lie to me. I know you're hiding the alien. Where is she?" Jinho said nothing. Doyun stepped closer. "Listen carefully. Some very dangerous people contacted me. They're offering 2 million credits for that alien princess. 2 million. Do you understand what that means to someone like me? It means you're going to sell a child to murderers. I'm going to retire rich. The child is not my concern." Doyen gestured to his guards. "Take him. We'll make him talk." The guards moved forward. Jinho grabbed a piece of broken metal and swung it hard. The first guard went down. The second guard fired his stun weapon, but Jinho dodged behind a piece of hull. The shot went wide. Jinho had been a soldier before he became a father, before he became a miner. Those instincts never really left. He threw the metal piece at the second guard, hitting him in the face. The man fell back, cursing. The third guard tackled Jinho to the ground. They fought hard. Jinho was older but desperate. He got his elbow into the guard's throat and pushed him off. Doyen ran. Of course he ran. Men like him always ran when things got dangerous. Jinho grabbed the salvaged parts and ran in the opposite direction. His vehicle was parked 200 meters away. He could make it if he was fast enough. Stun blasts hit the ground near his feet. The guards were recovering. Jinho ran faster. He reached his vehicle and started it. The engine roared to life. He drove away as fast as the old machine would go. He went straight to Mina's place. She opened the door, took one look at his face, and knew something bad had happened. "We're out of time," Jinho said. "Doyen knows. The assassins are coming. We have to build that communicator now." Lyra and Hana sat at Mina's kitchen table. Both girls looked scared but trying to be brave. "Can you do it?" Lyra asked. "Can you make it work?" "I don't know, but I have to try." Jinho spread the alien parts on the table next to his human tools. He studied them. Alien technology was elegant, beautiful, but also strange. The power flow didn't make sense. The connections were wrong. Unless he stopped thinking like an engineer and started thinking like a human. Humans didn't follow rules. Humans made things work through sheer stubborn will. He started connecting parts. Alien power cell to human signal booster. Velthrine circuit board to colony communication array. It shouldn't work. Every rule of engineering said it was impossible. But Jinho had never been good at following rules. He soldered connections that didn't match. He bypassed safety protocols. He forced incompatible systems to talk to each other through pure improvisation. 6 hours later, he had something. It looked like a mess. Wires everywhere. Parts held together with tape and hope. But the power light was on. "Lyra, I need you to program your language into this. Your people need to know it's really you." Lyra worked carefully with the device. Her small hands moved over the alien interface. She spoke into it in her own language, musical and strange. Then she pressed a final button. The device hummed, lights flickered. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a voice came through, speaking Velthrine. Lyra gasped and answered quickly. The conversation lasted several minutes. Jinho couldn't understand the words, but he understood the emotion, relief, fear, hope. Lyra turned to him with tears glowing on her face. "My mother. I spoke to my mother. She is coming. 3 days." 3 days, Jinho repeated. We just have to survive 3 days. Mina looked out the window. We have a more immediate problem. Ships were descending through the atmosphere, not colony ships. These were sleek and dangerous, military vessels, 6 of them. They spread out across the settlement like hunting wolves. The assassins had arrived. We need to go, Jinho said. Now. They gathered what they could. Jinho took his emergency supplies and the few weapons he owned. A mining laser, a welding torch, not much against military hardware, but something. Mina grabbed her work tools. Where are we going? The mining field. The old section. Lots of equipment there. Lots of places to hide. And fight? Mina asked. If we have to. They ran through the back streets of the colony. Jinho carried Lyra. Hana held Mina's hand. The assassin ships landed near the center of the settlement. Soldiers poured out. They moved with military precision, professional, deadly. The old mining section was dark and full of massive equipment. Drilling machines bigger than houses, conveyor systems that ran for kilometers, processing plants with dozens of chambers and corridors. It was a maze, and Jinho knew every meter of it. He led them deep into the processing plant. They climbed stairs and crossed catwalks. They hid in control rooms and storage chambers. This is good, Jinho said. We can defend this place. Defend it with what? Mina asked. We have a mining laser and a welding torch. Jinho smiled. It was not a nice smile. We have mining equipment, we have industrial machines, and we have human creativity. He started explaining his plan. It was crazy, dangerous, probably impossible, but it was human, and that meant it might just work. The assassins found them an hour later. Their sensors picked up life signs in the plant. Soldiers moved in carefully. They were good, well-trained. They had weapons that could cut through steel, but they didn't understand human warfare. Alien combat was organized, logical, efficient. Humans fought dirty. The first squad entered the processing chamber. Jinho triggered a release valve. Tons of ore dust poured down from above. The soldiers couldn't see, couldn't breathe. They fell back, coughing and blind. The second squad tried to flank from the side. Mina was waiting. She activated a conveyor belt at full speed. The soldiers were thrown off balance and carried away by the moving machinery. The third squad went up. They climbed the catwalks looking for the high ground. Hana, following her father's instructions, hit the emergency release on a suspended container. It swung like a pendulum, knocking soldiers off the catwalk. Lyra watched in amazement. This is fighting? This is chaos. Welcome to human tactics, Jinho said. But there were too many of them. More soldiers kept coming. They adapted. They started using drones and sensors. They stopped walking into obvious traps. Jinho and his family fell back deeper into the plant. They reached the central control room. This was the last defensible position. After this, there was nowhere to go. Jinho sealed the door. It was heavy steel. It would hold for a while. He went to the control panel and started pressing buttons. What are you doing? Mina asked. Something very stupid or very smart? I haven't decided which. He activated every piece of equipment in the plant at once. Drills, crushers, conveyors, processing systems, everything. The entire building shook with the noise and power. Then he set them all to overload. Jinho, that's going to cause a massive explosion, Mina said. I know. We have about 5 minutes. The assassin leader's voice came through a speaker. He spoke human common language with a cold accent. You cannot win. Give us the princess. We will let the others live. No, Jinho said simply. Then you all die. Maybe, but you're going to die first. Jinho grabbed both girls. Mina followed. They ran to the emergency exit on the far side of the control room. It led to an old mining tunnel. The tunnel connected to a transport system that went under the colony. Behind them, The assassins started cutting through the door. They would be through in minutes. The equipment overload reached critical levels. Machines started exploding, small at first, then bigger. Jinho and his family ran through the tunnel as the world behind them tore itself apart. The explosion was massive. It destroyed the processing plant and everything in it, including the assassins. They emerged a kilometer away, coughing and covered in dust. The colony alarm was blaring. Fire crews were responding. Colonists were running around in confusion. Administrator Doyun appeared from the crowd. He had a weapon, a real weapon, a plasma pistol. "It's over, Park. Give me the alien or I shoot your daughter." He pointed the weapon at Hana. Everything slowed down. Jinho saw the fear in his daughter's eyes. He saw Lyra stepping in front of Hana protectively. He saw Mina reaching for something in her tool belt, and he saw his dead wife's face, Yuna, smiling, telling him to be brave. "I've got you," Jinho whispered. It was more prayer than promise. "Daddy's got you both." He moved, faster than Doyen expected, faster than a tired miner should be able to move. He tackled the administrator before he could fire. They struggled. The weapon discharged into the air. Colonists screamed and ran. Jinho got his hand on the weapon. He twisted it away. Doyen fought back, but Jinho had something Doyen didn't: purpose. The administrator went down. Mina was there with security restraints. They tied him up quickly. Jinho hugged both girls tight. They were safe, for now. In the sky, more ships appeared. Bigger ones, beautiful ones. They had the symbol of the Veltrine Empire on their hulls. "My mother," Lyra whispered. "She came." The largest ship landed near them. A ramp extended. Soldiers came out first, then a woman who could only be an empress. She was tall, regal. Her skin glowed brighter than Lyra's. She had 4 golden eyes that scanned the crowd until they found her daughter. "Lyra!" The Empress ran, breaking all protocol. She grabbed her daughter and held her tight. It was the most un-Empress-like thing Jinho had ever seen, and it was beautiful. Lyra hugged her mother back. "Mama, the human saved me. He covered me in." Empress Sareth looked at Jinho. He was dirty, tired, holding his own daughter close. He looked like exactly what he was, a father protecting his children. "You saved my daughter," Sareth said. "Yes." "Why?" Jinho smiled. "Because she's a child, and children deserve to be protected." The Empress stared at him for a long moment. Then she did something that shocked everyone. She bowed, an Empress, bowing to a human miner. "Thank you," she said simply. The moment of peace didn't last. A warning siren screamed from the Veltrine ships. Soldiers rushed into defensive positions. Something was wrong. Empress Sareth's face went cold. "The Krev! They're here!" Jinho looked up. Another ship was descending, bigger than the Empress's vessel. Darker. It had weapons bristling from every surface. This was a warship. "Get to safety," Sareth commanded. Her soldiers formed a protective ring around her and Lyra. "Wait," Jinho said. "What about the colony? There are families here, children." "The Krev will not harm civilians. They want only Lyra." "You're sure about that?" Sareth hesitated. "No, I am not sure." The Krev warship landed hard. The ground shook. A ramp extended and soldiers marched out. They wore black armor that seemed to absorb light. Their weapons hummed with power. A figure walked down the ramp. He was tall, armored. His 4 eyes glowed red instead of gold. "Commander Vek," Sareth said quietly. "The leader of the Krev rebellion." Vek's voice boomed across the landing area. "Empress Sareth, surrender the child. The old bloodline must end. The Veltrine Empire must be reborn through strength, not weakness." "She is my daughter," Sareth called back. "I will not give her to you." "Then we take her by force." Vek raised his hand. His soldiers activated their weapons. Sareth's forces did the same. Two armies faced each other on a human mining colony. The colonists ran for cover. Jinho grabbed Hana and started to run, but Lyra pulled away. "No," the young princess said. "No more running. No more hiding. Lyra, you have to— They fight because of me. Humans will die because of me." Lyra's 4 eyes were full of tears. "I cannot let that happen." She walked toward the space between the two armies. Jinho's heart stopped. "Lyra!" Sareth screamed. The young princess stood alone in no man's land. She looked small, fragile, but her voice carried. "I am Princess Lyra. I am here. If you want me, Commander Vec, I will go with you. But you must promise to leave the humans alone. They helped me. They are innocent." Vec laughed. It was a cruel sound. "The humans are nothing, primitive, weak. You see them as equals? This is why the Empire is dying." "They are not weak," Lyra said. "They saved me when our strongest soldiers died. They fought for me when they had no reason to care. They covered me in." "Covered you in?" Vec sounded confused. "They made me feel safe. They made me feel loved, something our Empire has forgotten how to do." Vec shook his head. "Feelings, love, these are the weaknesses that destroy civilizations. The Krev will build a stronger empire, one based on power, on survival, not sentiment." Jinho couldn't watch anymore. He handed Hana to Mina and walked forward. "You're wrong," he said. Everyone turned to look at him, a human miner, standing between 2 alien armies. It was insane. "What did you say?" Vec demanded. "You're wrong about strength, about weakness." Jinho stood next to Lyra. "I lost my wife 3 years ago. She died in an accident. It nearly destroyed me. The pain was so bad I wanted to give up, but I had a daughter who needed me, so I kept going. I kept fighting, not because I was strong, because I loved her." He put his hand on Lyra's shoulder. "This child crashed near my home. She was hurt, scared, alone. I could have turned away. It would have been safer, easier, but I didn't. Because love isn't weakness. Love is what makes us strong enough to protect others." "Humans and their emotions," Vec said with disgust. "This is why you will always be inferior." "Maybe, but we're here. We survived. We reached the stars. We built civilizations, and we did it together, by caring for each other, by protecting the weak instead of abandoning them." Empress Sareth stepped forward. She stood on Lyra's other side. "The human is right. I see it now. Our empire is dying not because we became weak. We are dying because we became cold." She looked at her daughter, really looked at her. "Lyra, I sent you away when you were young, to be raised by AI tutors, to learn logic and duty. I thought I was preparing you to rule, but I was taking away your childhood, your joy, your ability to connect with others." "Mama," "I was wrong. I see that now, watching this human and his daughter, the way they love each other, the way they loved you, a complete stranger. This is not weakness. This is the most powerful force in the universe." Sareth turned to Vec. "You want to rebuild the empire through strength? You will fail, because an empire without heart is already dead." Vec's red eyes blazed. "Then you all die. Attack!" His soldiers opened fire. Sareth's forces returned fire. Energy weapons lit up the sky. Explosions rocked the ground. Jinho grabbed both girls and dove behind a cargo container. Mina and Hana were already there. The adults shielded the children with their bodies. "We need to stop this," Jinho shouted over the noise. "How?" Mina asked. "This is a war between alien empires." "Maybe, but we're on human ground, in a human colony, and humans are really good at improvisation." Jinho looked around. Mining equipment, colony infrastructure, his vehicle. Not much, but enough. He had an idea, a crazy, desperate human idea. "Mina, can you access the colony's broadcast system?" "Yeah, why?" because we're going to show the galaxy what humans are really like." 10 minutes later, every screen in the colony lit up. Every communication device, every display. Mina had hacked into everything and created a live broadcast. Jinho stood in front of a camera. Behind him, the battle raged. Beside him stood Empress Sareth, Princess Lyra, and his daughter Hana. "My name is Jinho Park," he said to the camera. "I'm a miner, a father, a human. 3 days ago, an alien princess crashed near my home. She was hurt. She was alone. She was afraid. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know about empires or rebellions or politics. I just saw a child who needed help." He put his hand on Lyra's head. "So I helped her. I took her home. I bandaged her wounds. I kept her safe. And when bad people came to take her, I fought them. Not because I'm a hero, not because I expected a reward, but because it was the right thing to do." Hana spoke next. "Lyra is my friend. She's nice. She's funny. She likes the same stories I like. She's scared sometimes, just like me. And when you're friends with someone, you protect them. That's what humans do." Empress Sareth added, "I came here expecting to find a primitive colony. Instead, I found something my empire lost long ago. Compassion, connection, the simple act of caring for another being, even when it costs you everything." Lyra stepped forward. "I am Princess Lyra of the Veltrine Empire. I speak to all Veltrine people watching this. The Krev say we must be strong. They say emotions make us weak. But they are wrong. The humans taught me that love is the greatest strength. They risked their lives for me. They asked for nothing in return. This is true power. This is true nobility." The broadcast went out, not just to the colony. Mina had piggybacked it onto the Veltrine communication networks. Both sides of the conflict were seeing it, and through them, the entire Veltrine Empire. The fighting slowed, then stopped. Soldiers on both sides were looking at their displays, watching the broadcast, watching a human family stand with an alien princess. Commander Vec roared in fury. "This changes nothing. The weak will be purged." But his soldiers were hesitating. Some were lowering their weapons. They were looking at Lyra, at the humans protecting her, at something they thought they had lost. One soldier stepped forward, then another. They put down their weapons and walked toward Lyra. "Princess," one said, "we were told you represented the old ways, weakness. But we see now, you represent something else, hope." More soldiers joined them, then more. The Krev forces were fracturing. Vec screamed orders, but no one listened. His rebellion was collapsing before his eyes. "No, this is impossible! You cannot—" A shot rang out. Vec fell. Behind him stood his own second-in-command. "It is over, Commander. We will not fight for hatred anymore." The Krev warship powered down. Soldiers on both sides lowered their weapons. The battle was over, not through superior force, through a simple message of love and family. Jinho hugged both girls tight. Hana was crying. Lyra was glowing so bright, she lit up the whole area. Empress Sareth knelt next to them. "You saved my daughter twice, once from death, once from a life without love. How can I ever repay you?" "I don't need payment. Nevertheless, you have it. Name anything. Technology, wealth, territory. It is yours." Jinho looked at Lyra, then at Hana, then back at the Empress. "Actually, there is something I want." That night, after the soldiers had left and the colony had begun to clean up, Jinho tucked 2 daughters into bed. Hana was in her own bed. Lyra was in a makeshift bed next to her. Both girls were exhausted but happy. "Are you going to stay?" Hana asked Lyra. "Yes, for a while. My mama said so." Jinho pulled the blankets up on both of them. "The Empress agreed to stay here for a few weeks. She wants to learn about humans, about families, about how to help her empire rediscover what they lost." "Can we show her our games?" Hana asked. "And the bedtime stories?" Lyra added. We can show her everything. Jinho kissed both girls on the forehead. He turned off the light and started to leave. Human Daddy? Lyra called softly. Yes? Thank you for covering me in. Jinho smiled in the darkness. Always. For both of you. Always. He closed the door and found Empress Sareth waiting in his living room. She looked different, less formal, more uncertain. I do not know how to be a mother, she admitted. I was raised to be an empress. Duty, honor, sacrifice. No one taught me to be a parent. It's not something you can learn from a book, Jinho said. You learn by doing. By being there. By loving them even when it's hard. Will you teach me? Will you show me how humans raise their children? Jinho thought about Yuna, about the life they had planned, about the family they were supposed to have. She would want this. She would want him to help. Yes, he said. I'll teach you. Sareth smiled. It was small, uncertain, but real. Then I will stay and learn. For my daughter, for my empire, for the future. Outside, the stars shone bright. 2 civilizations had met and discovered that the greatest power in the universe wasn't technology or weapons. It was love. 5 years passed like a dream. The small mining colony of Titan's Edge became famous across the galaxy. It was the place where everything changed, where a human miner taught an empire how to love, where the Treaty of Bedtime Stories was signed. That's what they called it. The official name was much longer and more formal, but everyone knew it as the Treaty of Bedtime Stories, because that's what it really was about. Jinho stood in front of the new building. It was massive, beautiful, built with both human and Veltrine technology. The sign above the door read, Human Veltrine Cultural Center. Inside, human children and Veltrine children played together. They learned together. They grew together. Pretty impressive, isn't it? Mina said. She stood beside him in her new uniform. Admiral Mina Lee now. Commander of the Joint Human Veltrine Defense Fleet. She had come a long way from mining operations. Hard to believe sometimes, Jinho admitted. You started all this. One act of kindness. Look what it became. A group of children ran past them. Human and Veltrine mixed together. They were laughing, playing a game that combined both species' traditions. It looked chaotic and wonderful. Daddy, Hana called. She was 12 now, tall, smart, still had that same kind heart. She ran up and hugged him. Lyra and I finished our presentation. We're ready. Lyra followed. She had grown too. She looked like a young Veltrine adult now. Though she was still considered young by her people's standards, her glow was bright and steady, confident. Are you nervous? Jinho asked. A little, Lyra admitted. Speaking in front of the Galactic Council is big. You'll do fine, both of you. Will Mama be there? Lyra asked. She's already inside, front row. Empress Sareth had changed more than anyone. She still ruled the Veltrine Empire, but she ruled differently now, with compassion, with understanding, with love, and she had become a mother, a real mother. Not just an empress with a daughter, but someone who knew how to hug and comfort and play. Someone who read bedtime stories and kissed scraped knees and attended school presentations. The auditorium was packed. Representatives from dozens of alien species sat in the seats. The Galactic Council had come to Titan's Edge to witness something special. Jinho sat next to Sareth. The Empress smiled at him. It was a real smile, warm. They had become friends over the years, maybe more than friends. But they took things slow. Both of them had learned that rushing leads to mistakes. Hana and Lyra walked onto the stage together, sisters in all but biology. They had prepared a presentation about the success of the cultural exchange program. 5 years ago, Hana began, my dad saved an alien princess. He didn't think about it. He just did it, because it was right. And I learned something that day, Lyra continued. I learned that family isn't about species. It's about caring, about being there for each other, about covering each other in. They explained the phrase, how it started as a simple bedtime ritual, how it became a symbol, how it spread through the Veltrine Empire and beyond. The Veltrine had been dying. Their birth rates were dropping. Their people were disconnected and cold. But in 5 years, everything had changed. Veltrine parents now tucked their children into bed. They read stories. They played games. They showed physical affection. The ideas seemed simple, almost silly. But they worked. Birth rates were rising. Children were happier. The empire was healing. And it wasn't just the Veltrine. Other species had noticed. They saw what happened when you treated children with love instead of just logic, when you built families instead of just breeding programs. 3 other alien species had started similar programs, cultural exchanges with humans, learning about family, about emotion, about connection. Humans were becoming known across the galaxy not for their technology or weapons, but for their hearts. We've created education programs, Hana explained. Human families host Veltrine children. Veltrine families host human children. They learn from each other. And the results are remarkable, Lyra added. Crime rates down, happiness up, innovation increasing, all because we learned to care for each other. The presentation lasted an hour. They showed videos of mixed species families, interviews with parents, data on social improvements. Everything was documented, proven, real. When they finished, the auditorium was silent. Then one representative stood and began to clap. Then another. Then everyone. The Galactic Council representative, a massive 4-armed alien named Thok, approached the stage. "This council has watched your experiment with interest," Thok said. "We were skeptical. Emotions seemed inefficient. Love seemed illogical. But we were wrong. Humanity has shown us something we had forgotten, that the measure of a civilization is not its technology. It is how it treats its children." Thok turned to Jinho. "Mr. Park, the council wishes to offer you a position. Cultural ambassador to the galaxy. Help other species learn what you taught the Veltrine." Jinho stood slowly. Everyone was looking at him. Important aliens. Powerful people. He felt very small. "I'm just a dad," he said. "I'm not special. I just did what any parent would do." "That is precisely why you are special," Thok replied. "You act from instinct, from love. This cannot be taught, but it can be shared." Jinho looked at Hana, at Lyra, at Sareth. His family, the family he had built from loss and hope. "I'll do it," he said, "but on one condition. I don't do it alone. This is a family project, all of us together." Agreed. That evening, they celebrated at home. The same small hab unit where everything started. It had been upgraded with Veltrine technology, but it was still home. Mina was there with her new girlfriend, a Veltrine engineer named Kayla. Sareth was there, wearing casual human clothes instead of her formal robes. Hana and Lyra ran around with 3 other children from the colony. It was loud, chaotic, messy, perfect. Jinho stood at the window and watched the sunset. Titan's Edge had changed so much. There were new buildings, new ships in orbit, new families from across the galaxy. Yuna would have loved this. She always wanted a big family. Lots of noise and love. He had given up on that dream when she died. But somehow, impossibly, it had happened anyway. "You're thinking about her," Sareth said quietly. She stood next to him. "Always. Some part of me will always love her. I know that is okay. Love is not limited. It grows. It expands. It makes room for new people without pushing out the old." Jinho looked at her. "Did you just quote my own advice back to me?" "I learned from the best." Sareth smiled. "You taught me that. You taught me that I could love my daughter without giving up my duty, that I could be an empress and a mother, strong and soft, both at once." You're a good student. I had a good teacher. They stood in comfortable silence. Outside, human and alien children played together under alien stars. Do you think it will last? Sareth asked. This peace? This cooperation? I don't know. Probably not forever. Someone will always want power, want war, want to divide instead of unite. Jinho watched the children. But I think we've started something that can't be completely stopped. Once you show people there's a better way, they remember. Even in darkness, they remember the light. The dinner was chaotic and wonderful. Different foods from different planets, different languages mixing together, different traditions combining into something new and beautiful. After dinner, after the guests left, Jinho did what he did every night. He tucked in his daughters, both of them, Hana in her bed, Lyra in the bed they had built for her years ago and never taken away. Big day tomorrow, Jinho said. First mission as cultural ambassadors. I'm excited, Hana said. We get to meet the Corinthian people, help them learn about families. They are very logical, Lyra added. Very cold, like my people used to be. But I think we can help them. I know you can. Both of you are amazing. Jinho pulled up the blankets. He kissed Hana's forehead, then Lyra's, the simple ritual that had changed everything. Will you cover me in, Daddy? Lyra asked. Even now at 13, in human years, she still asked. It was tradition. It was comfort. It was home. Always, Jinho promised, just like he did every night. Always. He turned off the light and stood at the door. 2 daughters, 1 human, 1 alien, both his, both loved. In the living room, Sareth was cleaning up. She had insisted on helping, said she needed to learn human domestic tasks. But Jinho thought she just liked being part of a normal family for a while. They're asleep? She asked. Almost. Give them 5 minutes. They sat on the couch together, close but not quite touching, still figuring out what they were to each other. Thank you, Sareth said suddenly. For what? For saving my daughter, for saving me, for saving my entire civilization. She looked at him. Her 4 golden eyes were wet with tears. You showed us how to live again. I just showed you how to love. You did the rest. No, it was you. It was humans. Your strange, wonderful, illogical species that cares about everyone. Even strangers, even enemies, even aliens who crash near your home. Jinho took her hand. That's what makes us human. We're not the strongest, not the smartest, but we care. And sometimes, that's enough. Later, much later, Jinho stood outside under the stars. He looked up at the galaxy, at all those worlds, all those species, all those people who were slowly learning that family was more than blood, that love was more than logic, that the simple act of covering someone in could change the universe. I hope you can see this, Yuna, he whispered to the stars. I hope you know what happened. What you started by making me promise to never stop being a father. The stars shone bright. Somewhere up there, the Veltrine Empire was thriving. The Galactic Council was changing. Children were being loved instead of just raised. And it all started with one man who saw a scared child and decided to help. The door opened behind him. Hana and Lyra came out, unable to sleep from excitement. Can we stay up a little longer? Hana asked. Watch the stars? Sure. Why not? They sat together on the steps, father and daughters, human and Veltrine, family. Sareth joined them, bringing blankets. She wrapped one around each girl. Then, awkwardly but with love, she wrapped one around Jinho. Covering in? Jinho asked with a smile. I'm learning. Is this correct? Perfect. They sat together under alien stars, a family built from impossible circumstances, a family that proved love was universal, Above them, ships from a dozen species traveled through space. Many of them carried families now, mixed families, adopted families, found families, all inspired by what happened on Titan's Edge, the Treaty of Bedtime Stories, the agreement that said every child deserved love, that every person deserved connection, that the simple act of caring for each other was the foundation of civilization. It sounded too simple, too idealistic, too human, but it worked. "Daddy," Lyra asked, "when we visit the Corinthian people tomorrow, will you show them how to cover in? If they want to learn." "They will," Lyra said confidently. "Everyone wants to learn. Once they see it, once they feel it. No one wants to go back to being cold." Jinho hugged both girls close. Sareth leaned against his shoulder. Somewhere in the colony, Mina was probably still celebrating with Kayla. The cultural center would open early tomorrow for a new group of students. Life was busy, complicated, wonderful. "You know," Hana said, "in all those princess stories you used to tell me, the ending was always happily ever after. But this is better. This is happily ever ongoing." Lyra laughed. "That is very human, always optimistic, always looking forward." "Is that bad?" Hana asked. "No," Lyra said. "It is the best thing about you." They sat together until the girls fell asleep. Jinho carried Hana inside. Sareth carried Lyra. Together they tucked them in. Properly. With love. As Jinho closed the door to their room, Sareth took his hand. "Will you cover me in, Jinho Park?" she asked softly. It was a question, an invitation, a promise. "Yes," he said. "Always. For all of us. For as long as you need. Forever then. Forever." And under the stars of Titan's Edge, a family slept. Human and alien. Found and chosen. Loved and loving. The galaxy kept turning. Civilizations rose and fell. Wars were fought and peace was made. Technology advanced and cultures changed. But in one small colony, in one small home, the most important thing in the universe happened every single night. A father covered his children in and taught the galaxy what it meant to love. The end. But also the beginning.